All right, let me open with a prayer. This is a sensitive subject, and I got to be careful I don't step on it. Okay? I mean, our mission statement is dangerously following Christ, so this is dangerous, okay? Let me pray. That's what I'm telling you. Father, I pray that you will give us ears to hear. God, I know that you have incredible hope for us as Christians. The Bible's over and over and over where it talks about faith, love, hope. And so, God, I want to give some hope this morning to many of us that deal with this issue. Many of us. But it's sensitive. And so, God, I just pray that, God, I don't say anything to offend anybody. So, God, if there's words you still want me to say, give them to me. If there's words you don't want to say, take them away from me, God. But I pray that they hear your voice this morning. And we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. We do a series on hope, okay? First series we did was on healing. And this is what I want you to let you know. God can heal. We know that. But I want to let you know how healing takes place a lot already, okay? We live in a country that has incredible medical system. Our medical system was able to diagnose people with cancer, and they're able to heal many of those with cancer. If you have diabetes, they're able to take care of it. If you have a heart condition like John had, they're able to put a stent in. We have something that about 80% of the world doesn't have. God has given us that already. What incredible hope that is. Even for those of you that don't have insurance. You may not be working and you don't have insurance, and yet you still have the capability of getting that kind of medical treatment. That's provided by God. So we're already way ahead of the ball game. Addiction that we dealt with last week. We have incredible programs that have been proven to work over and over and over with AA and NA. And they're in every neighborhood. God has put them in every one of our neighborhoods. And this is what God has given Collision. God has given Collision 7 people that were willing to stand up last week to say, I'm an alcoholic or a drug addict. I work the program. And if you have issues, come with me and I will walk with you. Wow. Wow. That's hope for us. Incredible hope. That's right there for us. If you have cancer and you don't go to the doctor, shame on you. If John had his high blood pressure and just stayed at home and never went to the doctor, they were able to cure him simply by putting a stent. They didn't even have to operate. They were able to what? Go down your throat or your nose or your side. Oh, they didn't put a big hole. Okay. But they go in there to put a stent, and here he is now healthy as a result of that. If he'd have just stayed at home and not taken care of it, God provided, all he had to do was take it. And it's that same thing for addiction. It's there for you. It's just whether you decide to take it or not. Now we're going to talk about another one today. How many know that song, Swedish House? I think that's the name of the group. Can you sing it for us? Oh, thank you. You'll recognize it right away. Don't you worry, child. Heaven has a plan for you. Don't you worry, child. You can lose a pound or 2. Don't you worry, child. Jim has a diet just for you. Don't you worry, child. God has a plan for you. Listen to this now. I want to talk about this subject. It's sensitive. Very sensitive. How many of you have ever looked at that height and weight chart and are classified obese? Isn't that an ugly word? You could be called an addict. You could be called a drunk and live with that. But when they say you're obese, it's kind of like, how dare you? I remember when the doctor first told me that. Because I remember my son talking about that. I'm a football player and I'm obese because I weigh more than I'm supposed to for my height and for my age. Most of us deal with this. And unfortunately, the first two things where I said we're lucky because we live in a country where we have this medical help and we have this help for addiction, but we also live in a country where we have as much food as we want to eat. And that's an issue. And that's an issue. But I want to give you hope. I want to give you hope. This is not to label any of you people. I want to give you hope because I remember when my grandkids used to say, "Grandpa, are you pregnant? Are you going to have a baby?" And when I would sit down, when I'd sit down in a chair, they had their own seat. Okay? They didn't have to sit on my lap. They had their own seat. And I realized that, man, is this the way I want to live? Is this good? Is this healthy for me? And so, I want to give you some hope this morning, okay? I can remember when I had knee surgery because I had a bad knee. So I went in and had knee surgery, and then later on, it was hurting more again, so I went in thinking they'd do the same orthoscopic surgery. The doctor said, "No, you need knee replacement." And I went, "Oh, man." And I remember my shoulder being so sore, I couldn't sleep on my right side. I'd have to sleep on my left side because my shoulder was so sore. I was a wreck. I was a wreck. And I was only 65 years old. So I decided to do something about it. I decided to have hope and not just despair, which is kind of, that's just the way it is. But it's hard. It's hard. It's probably the hardest thing there is to do. It's probably harder than overcoming addiction. Somebody just shared with me last week that Mike Boltzmann had said that he's trying to overcome addiction and he still smokes because he says the smoking was harder than the addiction. So some things are just really hard. And this is not going to be an easy one. I want you to know that. But I want to give you some hope. All right? So please listen to me. We're going to look at some scriptures first of all, okay? Let's look at Proverbs 23. We looked at this one last week when we were talking about drunkenness. So let's take a look at it again. Proverbs 23, because it talks about two different things. It talks about drunkenness and it talks about overeating. Do we have the verse? Proverbs 23, verse 20. It says, "Do not join those who drink too much wine or gorge themselves on meat." No, stop right there. In that era right there, when they overate, it was always on meat. It was like, they didn't have the assortment of foods like we have today. It was like meat. It was a thing. It was good. And so they would overeat with the meat. And it says, "For drunkards and gluttons become poor." Now a glutton is anybody that eats more than they should. They overeat. It's like, I've done this too many times. Gone to Hometown. Where you can eat as much as you want for the same price. So you fill up your plate, you're full, but you know that you got to get your money's worth. And so you're going back out there to get some more. Until you're just stuffed. You're just stuffed. You're just, ugh. And you just can barely walk back out to the car. It says, "And drowsiness clothes you in rags." What happens when you overeat? Oh, I'll take a nap. I'll take a nap. So, overeating, you can become poor. And one of the ways you can become poor is because you have all kinds of health issues when you overeat. When I did, I can remember picking Josephine up to take her to the park, getting halfway to the swing and having to set her down because I couldn't carry her anymore. I remember going up the stairs and telling my wife, "Let's get rid of this two-story house." It was hard for me just to climb up the stairs and come back down again. So when you overeat, you are not the greatest worker in the world now. And you've got all kinds of health symptoms. All kinds of health symptoms. You miss work. A lot of different things. I want to give God wants to give you some hope on this, okay? Let's look at another Bible verse here before we get into the whole part. Titus chapter 1:12. Even one of their own prophets has said, Christians are always liars, evil brutes, lazy gluttons. Oh my gosh, could we put Americans in where it says Christians? We're a country that, I hate to say it, I remember myself, I want to be sensitive, but we eat too much. We eat too much. We're going to do this even with young kids. Young kids can get away with it because their metabolism is high. So they can eat all this stuff they want to, but it catches up to you sooner or later. I can remember when I used to work and we'd go out with our friends to eat, and we'd order dessert, and I would order apple pie a la mode or cherry pie a la mode. And they didn't eat theirs, so I'd finish eating theirs. And I could do it all because I was working hard and never gained a pound, and people look at me and said, jealous as could be, you lucky son, because you don't gain any weight at all. Well, they caught up with me. It caught up with me pretty soon. So young people even have to look at this. Well, let's look at Luke chapter, if you're sitting there saying, man, Jim, you're slamming us. Well, they slammed Jesus too. Luke chapter 7. The Son of Man, Jesus, came eating and drinking, and you say, here's a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. Jesus was even called that. Why? Because he hung around with people that gorged themselves on meat, that drank way too much. So they just assumed he was the same way. I want to give us some hope now. What's God's answer in all of this? Some of you are doing something. I know that Christy is doing something. I asked her if she would just share a little bit. Stand up if you don't mind. You're not shy. I see you all the time on Facebook, headed to 24-hour fitness. What are you doing?
I take the classes, I do the treadmill, I do the elliptical, I do the weights, I do sit-ups, I do steam room, sauna.
Are you on an eating program also?
Oh, I drink protein shakes twice a day.
Is it easy? No, right? You just love those protein shakes, don't you?
I mean, I kind of do.
You do?
I honestly do.
Oh, I hate those things. They just don't work for me. But you are doing something. Okay, how long have you been doing it?
Well, consistently, recently about a month.
Do you think you'll be able to do it the rest of your life? What happens if you don't do it? What happens if you stop?
I get sick actually, like if I just eat, like, well, I don't normally eat a lot. This is weird because I'm on a 1,200 calorie diet and I don't eat 1,200 calories.
That's one cheeseburger.
When I do eat, I get really sick.
Anybody else working a program? Anybody else doing something out there? Liz, what are you doing?
Well, for 16 months, I've been going to LA Fitness and I do everything. I do the treadmill, I work on my arms, my legs, my stomach. But at the same time, then I come here and eat donuts.
I love it. We're gonna
And then I get on the scale and I'm 200 pounds.
Yeah, but it's all muscle.
It's all muscle. But I also stopped smoking cigarettes too, so.
All right, now, I want you to hear me, okay? I want you to listen. I've said this before. I could be doing scripture, I say the Bible according to Jim. When I start translating it my way. Well, this is the diet according to Jim, okay? Because I've read stuff, I've talked to all kinds of people that do stuff, and I'm trying to figure out what is the best way. What is the easiest way, the easiest way even, okay? How many of you see those signs all over on the freeway? What is it called, lap band? Yeah. You see them all over on the freeway where you can lose hundreds of pounds? It works. They can. It's an operation. It's an operation where they go in there and they tie up your stomach. They shrink your stomach. So you can only eat so much food and you only have so much of an appetite. but it's a surgery, and it really works. But, can we do this naturally? Because I want you to think of it. What works behind this is shrinking the stomach. That's the key. Okay? So when you go to Hometown Buffet and gorge yourself, what are you doing with your stomach? Stretching it. It can eat more food now. It can consume more food. It gets hungrier faster. So the more you eat, the more your stomach stretches, which creates an appetite, which gives you the ability to be able to eat more food. So the key is to shrink the stomach, because when the stomach is shrunk, you have less appetite and you eat less. I know I was going to get all kinds of questions here. Go ahead.
No, I have had the gastric
Oh,
bypass.
you did?
I didn't have the lap band, I had the gastric bypass.
Okay.
Before you guys even knew me.
Really?
I was over 370. I've lost 100 pounds. And you cannot eat anymore. You get sick,
Uh-huh.
you throw up, you can only eat so many things. It's a lifestyle change you have to know going into it. And for some people, that's the point they have to get to do that before they can make the rest of the changes. Now, I do other changes. I mean, I've slacked off, I go back, it's hard. But I recently started back up with my protein shake in the morning. Because then I found out my body doesn't absorb any vitamins. And that's a risk you take with getting a surgery.
Okay. I know there's all kinds of, my wife's best friend had it done. And I know people that had it done, and then they get in trouble because they start eating more than they should, and once you've had that operation, now you got other problems. Okay? So, you can lose weight, but can you lose weight long term? See, every diet there is just so darn hard to stay on it. I have a diet where I can lose 10 pounds, and I've done it twice already. Twice I've done it. I get up in the morning, I eat a shake, a protein shake, or drink it. Ugh. Then I have 6 almonds for a snack. And then at lunch I get to have 6 ounces of meat and 6 ounces of green vegetable, broccoli, or Brussels sprouts, or green beans. And then I have 6 almonds, and then at dinner time I have the exact same thing as had at lunch. Oh, you just can't wait to eat. Now, if you can stick to that for 13 days, like what I do, then I've lost 10 pounds both times. The problem is, I can't just keep eating like that all the time. Who can eat that all the time? It's like, it's hard. It's hard. And who has the financial means of doing that? Who has the time to go out and buy that certain kind of vegetable? Who has the time to prepare that kind of stuff, especially when we live in a society where we're eating out all the time? So it's just not even feasible hardly. It works, but it's not necessarily feasible. So here's the key. The key is eating less. Now, I'm going to give you a plan here. Okay? It's going to be the easiest one you've ever heard now, okay? And it works. It works. You just have to be willing to do it. You have to be willing to do it, okay? And it's not going to be easy. I'm not going to sit there and say it's easy, but it's easier than the one that I just told you about. Because I can tell you. Now, there's another one out there. And I just read the book, Eat to Live. Great book. Nothing, I'm going to do this. It's all vegetables, all fruits, and all beans. All natural. You ever eat beans at every meal? You ever eat raw vegetables at every meal? You don't even have to buy gas for your car anymore. You save a lot of money. I know that it's healthy, but who can do that? Who can do that? So here's the way you can do it, and I've done it many times, and I choose to do that even now today, okay? I eat half of what's in front of me. I go out to In-N-Out and I get a hamburger, French fries, and a soda. None of that is good for you. but it's the one place we can go when we're heading to this first, where we go sometimes, and it's like the only place to stop to eat, so I stop in there to eat. I eat half of that cheeseburger. I eat half the fries and I drink half of it. And I stop. Now, am I still hungry? Oh, the other half looks so darn good. I could easily eat that other fat. I could order another cheeseburger and eat it. But I stop at that half. Now listen to me. In 10 minutes, 5 minutes, I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied. I do not need that other half that's sitting there. I am satisfied. But if I react within that first 5 minutes, I want to eat the other half. But if I don't, I'm satisfied. And I'm not any hungrier earlier than I would if I'd ate the whole thing. In fact, here's the irony behind the whole thing. If I eat the whole thing, at 5 o'clock, I'm hungrier now than I am if I just eat half of it. Is that weird or what? You would think the opposite. You think the more you eat, the less hungry you would be now. But the more you eat, the more hungry you are. So by eating half of it, I'm less hungry now at dinner time. So the key is not, now, we all know soda's no good for you. It's something like 13 heaping teaspoons in every can of soda. Oh my gosh. In fact, when we went to that thing with Rob Spencer, he had to take a glass of water and he put 13 teaspoons of sugar in it and had us drink it with just water. It was like, yeesh, this is nasty. But that's what's in soda. So we know soda's no good for us. We know that bread is no good for us. We know that the pasta's no good for us. We know all that. Well, we're going to eat it anyway. I mean, let's be realistic. This guy's in great shape. Do you eat hamburgers and pastas and all that stuff? I'll bet you do, don't you?
I do.
Mm-hmm. Is it going to catch up to you sooner or later? It's like we all eat that. So it's not, here's what, now this is a diet that works. Please hear me. It's not that you've got to cut out all these foods. If you can, great. Better for you if you can cut all that out. I know somebody, in fact, it's the one that did Judy Thomas's funeral. Many of you went to Judy Thomas's funeral. The guy that Dave Trotta that did that funeral lost 50 pounds. Do you know how he lost 50 pounds? He cut out all breads and pastas. And lost 50 pounds. Just by cutting that out. But when I talk to him, it's like, oh, he just hates life. He just hates life because everywhere he goes, it's in front of him and I can't have it. Is he realistically going to do that the rest of his life? He admits now he's already started eating it again. Because you can't do that the rest of your life. It's impossible. So the key is just eat half of what's in front of you. Half of what's in front of you. And don't make this mistake. Don't make the mistake of just putting half on your plate. It's better now don't waste food. Don't get me wrong. Every time I go out and eat, if you go for pizza and you normally have 4 pieces, just have 2 pieces. And take the other 2 and bring it home and heat it up there for the next meal. But stop after you eat half of it. And I can guarantee you people that you will start losing weight. And here's the good thing about it. It's slow loss over a long period of time. And here's what's healthy about that, okay? Your skin doesn't become all flabby as a result of losing weight fast. Don't worry about exercising because you don't have the energy to exercise now. You don't have the incentive to exercise. But once you start losing weight, all of a sudden it creates energy within. I have incredible energy now. I'm 67, I'm going to boast, what the heck. I'm 67 years old. I took Josephine to Children's Concepts in Torrance. First time I went there. You're going to Chuck E. Cheese where they got that thing where you crawl up through that maze thing up there. Well, that's what the whole thing is up there. And there's this big bounce house. It's way up as high as the ceiling up there. That's how high the bounce house is. Slides all over the place. Adults can go up there and take your shoes off. Now I'm there, okay, with a bunch of young couples that are sitting at the table watching their kids up in there. I'm in there for 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours with Josephine going down those slides and then the bounce house and everything. And I come out and I'm kind of like, It wasn't like Josephine is huffing and puffing. I'm not. I'm 67 years old. Now, could I have done that 2 years ago? No. I wouldn't even have got in there. They'd have had to come get me. They'd have been pulling me out of there. I'd have got stuck in one of those tubes that you went through in there.
You remember when you get stuck in the tube?
It's a slow process. But once you start eating right, and less energy. And now, if I can do it at 67, those of you that 30, 40, 50, should certainly be able to. Now, this is hope for you. I'm trying to give you hope here. Listen to me. I'm trying to give you hope, okay? If I can do it, you can do it. There's no reason you can't. It works simply by eating less. Simply by, now are you going to succeed every time? Do I succeed every time? No. Sometimes I'm eating and I know I should quit, but it tastes so darn good that I keep on eating the whole thing. And then when I'm done, I'm sluggish and I'm like, oh, what did I do that for? But I don't just quit now and say, well, I blew it. I get back on it again. I get back on. Do I eat healthy? I go over here to Omega Burgers for breakfast. No, this is what I have for breakfast. Bacon and eggs. Okay, but this is what I do now, okay? John and Esther saw me there yesterday. They were there with their grandkids. I get bacon and eggs with whole wheat toast, dry. Okay? And I order tomatoes instead of potatoes. I take the egg, I eat one of them, and the other one I take the white and leave the yolk there. I take 2 slices of bacon, put the other 2 on the tray. I take 2 slices of toast, and I put 1 slice on the tray. And I eat half of what's in front of me. But I eat what I want. Bacon and eggs are darn good. Way better than that chocolate shake that I could have had. I could have had that chocolate, I could have had that shake. And then the whole morning long, I'd be thinking about bacon and eggs. So I just eat half. Now, am I full when I'm done eating that? No. I'm staring at those 2 pieces of bacon. I'm staring at that toast with the 2 jellies that they give me. But I say no. And then 5 minutes later, I walk out and I'm not hungry. And I'm not walking out, oh, I ate too much. What did I do that for? And then I'm no hungrier at noon than I would have been if I'd ate the whole darn thing. Are you hearing me? It works, people. Question?
Some people don't have the willpower.
I know.
Cut it in half.
Yep.
So people are lazy because they're overeating. Like you said before, and they're tired because they're overeating. So it's kind of like a chain reaction. So if you exercise, if you go walk for a mile or jog a mile, and then come back and eat calories in, calories out, I think that's...
Yeah, and I hear you on that. Here's the problem. Calories, it's all calories that carries up. You walk a mile and you probably burned up 100 calories. That's 1 piece of toast. It's a lot easier just not eating that piece of toast. I'd rather not eat that piece of, no, don't get me wrong, exercise is great, don't get me wrong, but you are able to exercise because you've got the willpower, not the willpower, you got the energy.
You have energy because you're eating lighter.
Yeah, but you got to start with that eating item. If I tell them go out and start walking, it's like, oh, you don't have the energy. But if you could start learning to cut back the food, energy comes with that. Energy comes with that. Here's a mistake. Too many people just, I got to go because of time. Too many people just say, start exercising. You get discouraged then because it's hard. And if you have to do that 3 times a week, you're going to give up, and then you're just going to say, well, I can't do this, and you quit. But if you just start by eating less, you can do it. Okay? Now I want to share one last thing here, okay? One last thing. Now remember, if you fail, don't quit. Don't quit. Remember I told you I needed knee surgery? My shoulder? I can run a mile now and I don't even feel it in my knee. I can sleep on my right side all night long and I don't even realize if there's anything wrong with my shoulder. I can go to the doctor. You go to, no, the doctor wanted to give me stuff for it. In fact, I had high cholesterol. He gave me high cholesterol medicine because I was way over 200 in cholesterol. Oh my gosh, that medicine was terrible. I had so many side effects to that thing, it was just kind of, no, I don't mean I can take this no more. It just messed my whole body up. So now as a result of eating right, I'm not eating right, eating less. I'm not eating right. Don't get me wrong, I'm not eating right. I still eat macaroni and cheese. Because Josephine eats macaroni and cheese. And my wife cooks it when Josephine's there, so it's in front of me, I'm gonna eat it, but I eat half of what I normally would eat. So, as a result of doing all that, it healed. Now, here's I'm not a pill taker. Oh, my wife used to give kids sneeze, she'd give them something. I never took anything. Never took aspirin, never took that. I didn't even know what some of that stuff was. I just didn't take anything. So when I first started working out with Rob Spencer, he gives me all of these vitamins to take. And it's like, God, some of those pills like horse pills. And it's kind of like, but there is one out there that I swear by. If you got a lot of people have arthritis. How many of you have arthritis? Okay. Here's what arthritis is. Arthritis is inflammation. That's what arthritis is. It's inflammation. That's like a sore inside of your body that's inflamed, that's red and sore. Okay? You can take medication for it. Doctor give you a prescription for it. It will help with it, but the side effects to it. You can take omegas, which is fish oil. If somebody would told me this first, I'd have said, yeah, right, in your dreams. But it's omega fish oil is an anti-inflammatory, which is all natural. And you take it 2 every day, like I've been doing now for 2 years every day, and it starts taking care of that inflammation. It even starts building up. It's like a gel that's inside of there, because that's what happens when you have knee replacement. You lose all that tissue that's between your bone and all that, and that omegas actually replace some of that. Okay? Now, I'm not a healthy guy here. I know you want to say something, but because of the children, I gotta move on. This works, people. And the whole idea I want to do is I want to give you hope. I want to give you hope. We laugh about it. When my grandkids used to say, Grandpa, you look like you're pregnant, I used to laugh about it, but inside it hurt. Inside, it's just my grandkid, but inside it hurt. So we can sit there and pretend that we don't care. But we do. It affects us. It affects us. We can't be as godly, we can't be as spiritual, we can't be a lot of other things as a result of that. God has hope for you. And I've given it to you. Just try it, people. Try it. Don't expect to lose weight immediately like it's going to, but if you can develop this lifestyle, pretty soon it becomes easier and easier and easier and easier until it's just a way of life. And you still get to eat everything you normally would eat. You just eat less, but you're satisfied. You're satisfied. It works, people. This is what I want to do now today. We're going to start this. For those of you that want to. Right? After I'm done here, now after worship, we're going to go back into that exit sign right there. There's a little hallway there, and it's got metal. We've got a scale in there. Okay? Liz is going to be the one that's going to be, because Liz, you hear how open she was. She just told her weight. How many women will tell you their weight? Not very many.
172.
So Liz will be the only one that'll be seeing your weight. The only one that's going to see your weight. She's going to record it in a book. And then every Sunday, you're going to go in there afterwards just to see, on the same scale, just to see if there's hope. If there's hope. All right? So if you want to take what's said this morning and say, I want to do something about it, this is your opportunity. There's just something about accountability that works. It works for me when I know that I'm being held accountable. And then pretty soon, you don't need that. But to start with, a lot of people need that. And then afterwards, it becomes a part of your life. So if you want to make some changes in your life, all I'm going to ask you to do afterwards is go to that exit sign. Now, How many churches do they talk about this kind of stuff?
No, I'm kidding.
That's what I love about collision. We talk about losing weight. What the heck? It's important. It's important. I see on Facebook all the time, Daniel, when you're running the track or walking the track. I'll meet you there because I do that 3 times
Can
a
we get
week
in
there
that
too.
subject?
So it's kind of like, some people are doing it. Some people are doing
You'd rather be
it.
in the first
But
line to go find one.
others, I'd like to see it. So I'm going to get the worship team up here now. I'm just going to ask, if you are willing to do this now, okay? If you're willing to say, I want to do something about this, then all you got to do is go into where that exit sign is there afterwards, record your weight, and then start eating half of what's in front of you every time.
Jim, what was yours again?
Pardon?
What was yours again?
All right?
I'll ask you later.
138 pounds. I'll have to, I forget too, I'll have to. Now leave, now make sure you do it every time with this. If you have your shoes on, make sure you weigh every time with your shoes on. If you take your shoes off, do it the same way every single time, okay? But start, and here's a, once you start seeing yourself lose a pound or two, God, it's exciting. It's exciting. It's way better than just staying the same or gaining more. It just does something to you psychologically. So if you're willing, I know there's a lot of skinny people in here that don't need to do this, okay? But there's a lot of us that do. There's a lot of us that do. God wants to give you hope. God wants to give you hope. Here's what I'd like to do during worship, okay? There's other people that need prayer for a lot of things. There's a lot of things going on in people's lives right now. Just a ton. I wish I could tell you all the things that are going on in worship. It's painful. It's painful. It's painful. There's some family here worried about losing their kids, have their kids taken away. There's some people in here that just can't find jobs for nothing. There's some people in here that are sitting there and got bills that they cannot pay. There's all kinds of issues here in our church. Man, lay in here cross. Let people pray over you. Let people pray over you. There's nothing like going through something and somebody putting their hands on you to let you know that I care about you. And you're not walking alone. It's just something good about it. That's what Collision is about. We're a family that cares about one another. So if you've got any kind of issues at all, please come up here. Let's pray as a family. And let's live in Jesus' name.